Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Make It Yourself. So today we're going to learn how to make this Captain America hat. The size that we're making today is from around 3 to 5 years old range. You can change the size by going a hook size up or hook size down. Let's have a look at the things you will need in today's tutorial. So I'm using three color yarn. One is a blue, then a red and a white yarn, and the size of the crochet hook that I'm going to use is 4.5 mm. We will start first by making the logo. So for that we are going to make a magic ring, and then we will chain 2. After this we are going to make 15 half double crochets into the ring. Once we are done with 15 half double crochets, we are going to pull the tail yarn and close the ring as much as possible. And now we are going to slip stitch it to the first stitch. So this is the chain of 2. So on the second chain we are going to slip stitch it. After that we are going to make a chain of 5. So on the second stitch from top we are just going to make a slip stitch. Then on the next stitch we are going to make a single crochet, and on the next stitch we are going to make a half double crochet, and the bottommost stitch we are going to make 1 double crochet. So here we are making the star, and this is one of the corner of the stars. So here we will count, and on the third stitch we are going to slip stitch and connect this corner of the star. Now we're going to make the second corner of the star. So we're going to make a chain of 5 again, and it's the same pattern. We're going to slip stitch it on the topmost chain. Then on the next chain we are going to make a single crochet. On the next chain we are going to make a half double crochet, and on the bottommost stitch we are going to make a double crochet. And then again we'll count 3 stitches, and on the third stitch we are going to connect it using a slip stitch. So we'll be repeating this same pattern, and we are going to make 5 corners or 5 ends, and we'll be connecting each of them to the base after counting 3 stitches. So this is our last corner, and after the double crochet we are going to connect it on the third stitch with a slip stitch. And here we're going to chain 1. And now we're going to change the color. So as in the logo we have a center white star and the background for it is blue. So we're going to change the yarn color to blue. So you pull the yarn through this loop and pull the white yarn tightly, and then we are going to make a chain of 4. So you can cut off the white yarn after leaving a little bit of tail, and we are going to make 1 double crochet in the back loop of the bottommost stitch. And while doing so, we have to make sure to include the tail yarn also under the stitches. And in the second last stitch we are going to do a half double crochet, and on the topmost or the first stitch, on third stitch, we are going to make 1 single crochet, and the pointy, so this is a leftover yarn, I'm going to just trim it off, and then the pointy edge that we have, we are not going to make any stitches on it. Instead we are going to the other side, and on the third stitch we are going to do a single crochet, and on the second stitch we are going to do a half double crochet, and on the bottom stitch we are going to do 1 double crochet. So on the other side we just have 1 loop available. And on the center part, that is the bottommost part between the 2 stars, we are going to do a treble crochet. So again on the other side we repeat the same steps. So whenever we are making the stitches up the star corner, we are going to work on the back loop, and on the other side, since there is only 1 loop available, we're just going to work on that loop. And the pattern is the same. On the center part we do a treble crochet, and as we go higher up we do first 1 double crochet, then a half double crochet, and then a single crochet, and as we go down we do a single crochet, and then a half double crochet and a double crochet. So we repeat the same pattern over each of the corners of the star. And since we have worked on the back loop, you can see that the star pops out better. So if we have used the entire stitch, there will be somewhat of the blue yarn shown over the white star, but since we are working only on the back loop, you can see that the star pops out better in this particular pattern. So at the end we are going to slip stitch it to the first stitch. So the topmost chain we are going to slip stitch it to the topmost chain of our first stitch. So after this round, as per the pattern of the logo, we are going to change the yarn to red. We can trim off the blue yarn because we no longer need that, just leave a tail. So we're going to chain 3, and then we are going to make 1 double crochet in the next stitch. While making the double crochets, make sure to crochet over the tail yarn, then another double crochet, and then 1 more double crochet, and then on the 5th one we are going to make 2 double crochets here. So here chain 3 counts as a double crochet, that's why we did 1 chain 3 and then 3 double crochets and then 2 double crochets together. So the pattern here is we are going to make 1 double crochet in each of the 4 stitches, and on the 5th stitch we are going to make 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So we are going to repeat this pattern around till the end. So at the end again, to the third chain of our first stitch, we are going to make a slip stitch and then change our color to white, and we're going to trim off the red because we no longer need it while leaving a tail. And then we are going to chain 3. So this chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. So here the pattern is similar to what we did before. So in the previous row we had done 4 double crochets in each of the stitches, and here instead of 4 we will be doing 5 double crochet in each of the stitches, and then we will do 2 double crochets together. So here, since for the first part, since chain of 3 counts as our first double crochet, so along with the chain of 3 we will have to make 4 more double crochets and then make 2 double crochets together on the 6th stitch. So we'll repeat this pattern around till we reach our first stitch again. At the end of the round we are going to slip stitch it to the first stitch, the third chain of the first stitch, and then we are going to change our yarn to red, and since we no longer need the white yarn we are going to trim it off, and then we are going to chain 1 because we are going to make single crochets for this particular round. So here we are going to make 6 single crochets in 6 stitches, and then on the 7th stitch we are going to make 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So that is a increase. So we're going to increase after 6 stitches. And while making the stitches, make sure to include the tail yarn so that the tail yarns are hidden within the stitches. So we're going to follow this same pattern around till we reach our first stitch. So here we are done, and we can trim off the red yarn, and the tail, whatever is left, we can use a needle or a crochet hook. I'm using a smaller size crochet hook because it is easier to stitch in the yarn into the existing threads, into the existing stitches. So here the logo is done. Now we are going to work on the hat. We start by making a slip knot, and then we are going to make a chain of 8. So this hat we are going to do it in a bottom up pattern. So here we are making the base of the hat. So for the next row we are going to make 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then in each of the stitches we are going to make one single crochet each. So we'll have a total of 7 stitches for this particular row. So we are trying to have a ribbed pattern for the base. So to have the ribbed effect, we are going to work only in the back loops. So we have chained 1 here, and then if you can see the back loop, so on the next stitch on the back loop we are going to make 1 single crochet. So we're going to make 1 single crochet in each of the 7 stitches. So every time at the end of the row we will chain one and turn our work, and then work on the back loop. So we'll be making one single crochet in each of the stitches, so that we have a total of 7 stitches. So we will keep on doing this till we have made 72 rows. What you can also do is measure the circumference of the head of the person you are making the hat for, and keep making the rows till the length is such that it fits around the head. So at the end of the 72 rows, we are going to slip stitch two ends together. So here we are going to slip stitch the back loop, and on the other side we'll have only one loop. So the back loop of this side and the other loop on the other side, we're going to slip stitch it. So the back loop and the only available loop of the other side, and then we're going to slip stitch it. So we're going to slip stitch it in a similar manner till the end of the row. So whatever tail yarn is left, you can stitch it in using a needle or a crochet hook. Now once the base part is done, we're going to change a yarn to blue, and we trim off the red yarn because we no longer require it, with a little bit of a tail so that we can include it into our existing stitches. We chain 2, and then we make 1/2 double crochet into the space here. So while doing the stitches, make sure to include the tail yarn, and we are going to make the stitches in the gap which is available after each of the ridges. So you can see there is the high ridge out here. After that there is a space available there, so there we're going to make 1/2 double crochet, and after a stitch there is another space available here, so we're going to make another one there, and then again we're going to move to the stitch after the ridge. Ridge is the high part, the high bump that we have. So between the ridges we will be making 2 stitches. So at the end we are going to slip stitch it to our first stitch. So for this row we have made 72 stitches, the same as the base, and after that for this row we are going to use the camel stitch, and for that we are going to pull this loop to the back side so that it is easier for us to work on the bottom loop here. So in the camel stitch what we do is we work on the bottom loop, and so we're going to make 1/2 double crochets in the bottom loop. So we're going to make 1/2 double crochet in the bottom loop of each stitch. So here too the number of stitches remains the same, so we will still have 72 stitches, but just the pattern is different. We are going to make 1/2 double crochets in the back loop. So when you make the 1/2 double crochets in the back loop, you can see that we get a different kind of rib structure here. So we're going to do the same thing around till we get to our very first stitch. So you can see how the pattern gets developed. So at the end, as usual, we are going to slip stitch it to our first stitch, and then we are going to chain 3. So from now on we are going to make double crochets, and here also we are working on the back loop because we want the previous row to be a ribbed kind of structure. So here we are working on the back loop again. but the number of stitches are the same. We will have 72 stitches again. So at the end we are going to slip stitch it to the top of our first stitch. So here we are going to make a chain of 3, and then we are going to make 1 double crochet in each of the stitches. Since we are not making any increases, the total number of stitches by the end of the round will still be 72. So we are going to do this for the entire round and meet at the end to make a slip stitch. So we're going to repeat the same pattern and make a total of 5 rows of normal double crochet. 1 2 3 4 5. So after the 5th row we're going to chain 3, and from now onwards we are going to reduce the stitches. So for this row the pattern will be 1 double crochet in each of the 4 stitches, and then we are going to make 2 DCs. We're going to combine 2 double crochets together. So as you can see here, since the first chain of 3 is considered as a double crochet, and then we have 3 more double crochets, so total of 4 double crochet, and the next 2 we are going to combine together. So for that we make a double crochet and we pull through first loop, and we have 2 loops remaining in the hook. Then we go and make the second double crochet, and when we have 3 loops we pull it together. So here we have done 1 decrease. So similarly again we are going to make 4 double crochets in 4 stitches, and then we are going to decrease. So here we are decreasing 1 stitch. So we're going to repeat the same pattern, and at the end we are going to slip stitch and chain 3. And for this row what we are going to do is we are going to make 3 double crochets in 3 stitches, and then we are going to do a decrease. So here chain 3 and 2 double crochets, and then we are making a decrease in the same way that we have done before. So in the previous row we had made 4 double crochets in each of the stitches and then made a decrease. In this row we are going to make 3 double crochet in 3 of the stitches and then do a decrease. At the end of the round we will have a total of 48 stitches here. So we have slip stitched at the end, and then we are going to chain up 3 for the next row, and now we are going to make 2 double crochet in 2 stitches and then a decrease. So here we are going to do the decrease. And first double crochet, second double crochet, and then the decrease. So at the end of the round we will have a total of 36 stitches. For the next row we are going to do chain 3 and 1 double crochet and 1 decrease. Since the chain of 3 is considered as 1 double crochet, so we are doing the decrease now. So after each stitch we are going to do a decrease for this round, such that we have a total of 24 stitches at the end of this round. So for this round we are going to decrease every stitch. So we are going to combine 2 stitches together. So this is the first stitch and then the second stitch. So we're going to continuously decrease, so such that at the end we are left with only 12 stitches. So at the end of the round we will just have a small hole left at the top, so we'll leave a long tail so that we can stitch in the hole. So we'll use a needle, and then we will go through the stitches in a zigzag manner. We'll cover all the stitches and then we will pull the yarn to close the hole, and then we can put the needle and go to the other side. And to make it more secure, we are going to put some stitches across and then make a knot. So after that we'll cut off the yarn and we can stitch in the tail yarn. So our hat is done here, and now we're going to stitch in the logo to the cap. So here we are going to use a red yarn and go along the border of the logo, and there is no particular pattern of doing this. It's up to your convenience. So here what I am doing is I am using a needle and going in a zigzag pattern over the red part of the logo and stitching it around. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Do leave a feedback or a comment in the comment section, and also do subscribe to my channel for other fun videos. Click on the bell icon for notification and give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much for watching.